On the battlefield above, the intense one-on-one clash between Frey, one of Milim's 4 heavenly kings, and Insect General Tauren had escalated to new levels of fierceness. Kishishishi, you're feeble. Your talent seems to be more in escaping than fighting. Initially, Frey had taken the offensive, but once her signature claw attack was dodged, she found herself assuming a defensive stance. Actually, she had launched several attacks, yet they held no efficacy against Tauren, and she failed to pose any real threat. Oh, that's your perspective. Then I owe you my gratitude. What do you mean? I'm glad you're not very bright. Excuse me, what do you believe is the pivotal aspect of a battle? Speed. Indeed, that's accurate too. However, right after her first attack was evaded, Frey recognized this skirmish would be a protracted one. She determined that it was crucial to weaken the enemy without exhausting herself, so she modified her fighting strategy to optimize efficiency. This strategy extended not only to her but also to her subordinates. In essence, Frey manipulated the battle's dynamics to her favor by involving the enemy forces in the aftermath of her confrontation with Tauren. What? You were planning this from the beginning. Well, what do you think? Insolent, but you still can't lay a finger on me. Which means victory will be mine. Enraged, Tauren accelerated and closed the gap on Frey. However, even this had been anticipated by Frey. Tauren's aerial assaults were intricate enough to bewilder even a Demon Lord Seed-class opponent, but Frey possessed a different level of understanding. Through repeated observation of his fighting style, she discerned patterns and even predicted potential attack points based on Tauren's initial velocity. Assumptions are perilous. I'm rather cautious, so it takes me a while to be certain. As Frey concluded, Tauren had arrived at the projected position. In the instant Frey's claws reached him, the victor had already been determined. And within Tauren's pierced chest lay the magical nucleus that was paramount for the insector. Frey's claws tightly grasped it. Tauren's magical nucleus fragmented, brilliantly destroyed, marking the end of Tauren's existence. Lucia and Claire praised Frey. We appreciate your efforts, Frey-sama. Well done, Frey-sama. Now, we'll proceed with the comprehensive sweep of the area. Yes, please proceed. I'm quite exhausted, yet the battle is far from concluded. Resting doesn't seem like an option for me either. Frey surveyed the battlefield's surroundings. In her line of sight, she observed her comrades grappling in the fight. Frey maintained control throughout the entire encounter, but the same couldn't be said for everyone. While the gap in capabilities wasn't as pronounced as in Phobio's team, Gabil, who had joined the fray as reinforcement, was valiantly resisting while being thrown around by the adversary. Gabil wasn't lacking in strength. He had gained new power and was steadily advancing to become one of the strongest. However, his opponent's might was simply overwhelming. Insect General Beethop presented a daunting challenge that Gabil found hard to contend with. Beethop's combat prowess, including his physical abilities, were intricately tied to his essence value, a significant proportion of which defined his strength. As an insector, he lacked extraordinary abilities and instead excelled in close-quarters combat. This posed a problematic matchup for the well-rounded and versatile Gabil. If Gabil had been on his own, defeat would have likely occurred much earlier. The reason this hadn't transpired yet was due to the presence of his comrades fighting by his side. Gabil-san, are you holding up? Yes, I'm still standing. Don't worry, Sophia Dono. Gabil and Sophia, who had joined forces against Midley during the Eurasinia invasion, once again united their efforts against Beethop. Excellent, excellent. This is the essence of a true battle. I've confronted many formidable opponents over time, but you appear to surpass them all in strength. I see. Your words are flattering, yet I won't be holding back. How absurd. You make such claims while you've barely shown any serious effort until now. Ah, that's a fair point. If you're a warrior, then act as one. Don't toy around with your adversaries. With a mix of indignation and determination, Gabil consumed a healing potion. In a similar manner, Sophia swiftly consumed a costly full potion. However, despite these efforts, the numerous wounds on their bodies displayed no indication of recovery. The fundamental principle of full potions was to trigger cellular activation through magicules, thereby even compensating for missing parts and restoring cells to their original condition. However, for magians like Gabil and his companions who had a notably high density of intracellular magicules, 1 or 2 restorative potions would fall short in replenishing their cells. For minor wounds, simply applying the potion on their bodies sufficed, and as a result, both of them were already drenched in the potion. It's a relief that the taste has been improved, although I'd prefer not to rely on more healing concoctions for now. I'm in agreement. At first, the strawberry flavor seemed fun, but now it's just making me hungry. However, their fortune was about to shift as the ambience surrounding Beethop underwent a transformation. Hey, I wonder, is Tauren dead? The reason Beethop had disregarded Gabil and the others who were exchanging words was due to his realization that one of his comrades had been defeated by Frey. In a standoff on the battlefield, breaking away was hazardous for either side. Recognizing this, Beethop concluded that playing around was no longer suitable. I suppose there's no choice. As much as I wanted to take things easy, I'm going to get serious. Harnessing his leg strength, he immediately closed the gap using the force of an instant move and launched a kick at Sophia. Naturally, Sophia didn't follow Beethop with her eyes but instead with magic perception. She had transcended her old fighting style that solely relied on natural ability and had refined her skills. Nevertheless, Beethop's movements were too swift. This was unsurprising, as he attacked with his full might this time, unconcerned about the toll on his own body. Barely managing to shield herself with both arms, Sophia endured a harsh outcome. Her crossed arms shattered, and she was subjected to a forceful kick to the abdomen. A muffled, gurgling sound emerged, and Sophia coughed up blood. Beethop's foot had crushed Sophia's heart. Given the circumstances, death was all but certain. In an instant, Gabil comprehended the situation. How foolish. He would rather expose himself to vulnerability just to eliminate an opponent. No, he must be confident in his capability to endure. It took only a brief moment for him to decide. The success of the plan was a gamble, yet Gabil had unshakable faith in his power. Sophia Dono must not die. With that outcry, he hurled his cherished vortex spear, a possession akin to an extension of his body, toward Beethop. Simultaneously, as Beethop maneuvered to evade the projectile, Gabil dashed to Sophia's side. Then, Gabil released his power. He held uncertainty about whether this power could affect others, but in this moment, there was no alternative but to rely on it to aid Sophia. Reverse fate. Hear my desire and craft a miracle. With unwavering conviction, he believed that he could revive Sophia and support her with his power. Thus, the change destiny attribute of his ultimate gift, Psychology King Mood Maker, was triggered. It could be employed only once per day, rewriting the calamity that was destined to unfold. Beethop directed a questioning look at Gabil, who appeared defenseless even amid the heat of battle. Swiftly, he deduced that Gabil must have abandoned the fight the moment he relinquished his spear. Fool, united as comrades, I will eliminate you without a trace. Beethop unleashed his power once more, propelling a spinning kick toward Gabil, and Gabil's fate seemed sealed. However, that future would not materialize. Fate had been altered, and Sophia was wholly rejuvenated. Upon her revival, Sophia instinctively evaded, attuned to the imminent peril. Almost involuntarily, Gabil rolled to safety. Beethop's kick caused substantial damage to the ground, yet Gabil and Sophia escaped the predicament unharmed. Phew, that was a close call. You're saying that, but I believed I was done for. It was Gabil-san who saved me. Yes, it was a risky move, but I'm relieved it worked. I thought I had truly ended her, but how is she still standing? I'd love to explain, but I'm not going to tell you. Very well. I'll make sure to catch you next time.